Hey guys, this is my Yasuo Swain Deck walkthrough / guide. I've talked to a couple of new players to the game, and a common problem a lot of them have been facing is that they are struggling with deck building. They don't know what decks to build, they don't know how to build decks, and when they do build decks, they have a lot of issues. And they also just don't know what to work towards. So here's my go-to deck for ranked right now. It is built around the champion Yasuo. So you'll see pretty much all these cards are based around him to enable him, or Yasuo enables them. Because I run 3 Yasuos and 2 Swains. Swain can flip off of Yasuo's ability, because he deals 2, or he can strike a unit when he flips, and that enables Swain to transform really quickly. So let me just go through the deck and explain why I put that many cards in the deck. Guile, have 3 of them. Really cheap card. It's a good stun. Even though it's slow, it could be stun deal 2, stun deal 5, which is huge for 1 mana. Runeterra Tor might seem a little weird. She does enable Swain when she attacks, but an important thing is that this deck is more mid-game focused, doesn't have a lot of good early game cards. So she's here to be aggressive on turn 1, to trade early, and to try to help deal damage to the Nexus so we can close out better. Bob the Dragon, 2 mana 3/2. Pretty good stats for mana cost, but also you could play her for free if you play 2 spells, which you will probably be doing quite a bit in the mid game with this deck. Since Guile is super cheap and you have other cards like Culling Strike or Conclusive Palm, you can like stack on top of each other on the same turn, so you can kind of get her out for free. Fae build Twirler. This is the this is the pinnacle of it. Like, this is the card. This is your early game card. Like, you want this guy out turn 2, so you can start buffing him up. He can trade. He just grows over the course of the game if they don't kill him. He's a huge threat, and he can win you games very easily if they can't find a way to deal with him. And the reason why I put 3 of all 3 of these guys is because I want to see them early. Even if I don't see one of each, I want to see at least one of them early so I can have something on the board and I don't just get smacked around by a couple of decks. Retreat is here to save my units and then hopefully play something afterwards. I only have 2 of them because I don't rely on this card too much. I don't want to have this card always in my hand. It's just kind of like a nice save to put in your deck. Ragnar Sentry, just a solid stun. I like to have 3 of every stun and recall card, just because the ones in this deck are just super reliable, and you get to stun and have a 3/2 unit, so it's like 2 for 1, and that stun could end up dealing 2 to 5 damage with your Yasuo out, so it's just tons of value. Culling Strike. It's a good spell that can kill a lot of champions and even more threatening units. I only have 2 of them because in the past I put 3 in the deck, and I just end up sitting on 2 of them in my hand, and they're just worthless. And I just kind of decided to take one out, make room for something that could be more beneficial. Because of Palm. It's a stun that summons a 3/2. It's basically the equivalent of Ragnar Sentry, but I can do this at any time, and I can recall him with a retreat to get another stun. So it's a really solid card. Deny, it's the same reasoning as Culling Strike. I just want 2 of them because I want 1 a game to kind of defend against some annoyingness like a Ruination or a Judgment that could just destroy my field that I've worked all game to build. Livonia, 4-mana recall unit, really strong, it's fast, can use it anytime, it's awesome. Of course, Yasuo, Intimidate War, only 2 of them. I just want 1 a game, obviously, just like Calling Strike and Deny, I just want 1 a game. It could set up Yasuo to board wipe the field, and that's really strong. Swain, only have 2 of, really strong unit. It might be weird to have him in this deck, but I actually don't have him because of this. Funny enough, when I was making this deck and when all these new cards dropped, I was trying to think of who in Noxus I would put in this deck, and I was torn between him and Cat. I ended up going with him because he also triggers him to flip, which is awesome. And then when he flips, he damages the Nexus and he can stun the strongest back row enemies. So basically, in the late game, if they have big units that are 8/8, he can stun them, and then Yasuo could strike them and just completely killing them like that. And I think that's huge, and that's kind of why I kind of like him in this deck, but only has 2 of, because I don't rely on that. It's just kind of like a nifty like interaction that can happen that I can decimate these like late game characters that people have. Minotaur Reckoner is here just to stall out the game as we enter the late game, and it helps Yasuo to kind of just a consistent stun every round that normally could slow down a lot of people. Yon, only 2. If I have 3, it's just he's just a really expensive card, and if you, just holding so many expensive cards in your hands just limits what you can do each turn. And this deck, you really want to have a lot of options. You don't want to limit your options in this deck because you're very reactive. You want to stall and stop the opponent, because if they don't play anything, you can't really do much. But as soon as they start playing stuff, you can stop them from doing anything, and that's huge. Then Leviathan to draw Swain, and like only 1 really expensive card, and I'm not relying on Swain, so I'm totally fine with only having 1 in the deck. Yeah, I hope this is helpful. And yeah, that's the Yasuo Swain deck.